Hi everyone. My topic is the climate regarding LGBT educators, and I'm going to be examining the historical and contemporary foundations contributing to the dominant message regarding lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender identifying educators in public education. Horace Mann's vision of education was based on the following 6 principles. It is important to note that while he indicates the necessity for public schooling to be non-sectarian, he does not remove Christian morals, social ethics, or economic interests from this education. It is still based on the Christian Bible. As we read in many of our articles, the religious and cultural identifications that founded our education system were often the source of cultural intolerance, deculturalization, and other expressions of superiority and oppression. Evidence supports that this is the undercurrent of Christianity, which our education has been historically based on, that is the source of marginalizing and at times demonizing LGBT educators. We must also look at the historical portrait painted of a teacher and the absence of educator voices during the 18th and 19th century, which is not surprising considering the standard of unwed, non-sexual teachers expected to uphold Christian values and lifestyles while teaching children the nuances of citizenship and the religious texts. One major theme that popped up in my research was fear. Newspaper articles acknowledged the existence of homosexual teachers as well as provided suggestions for means to eradicate them from schools. The dominant message spread by media, politicians, and various psychologists, namely the APA, was that homosexual teachers posed a dangerous threat in their influence over impressionable youth. The fear that LGBT teachers would influence, pervert, and/or molest youth was perpetuated further through various policies, including those listed here, which all serve to identify and remove LGBT teachers from classrooms during the 1970s and 80s. In the 1990s, President Clinton relaxed the federal laws affecting security clearances for LGBT people, which paved the way for Don't Ask, Don't Tell and other federal work policies, none of which provided protection or relaxed restriction on LGBT teachers. Within a year, Paul and Kirk Cameron, supporters and partners with the Family Research Institute, published their findings indicating that homosexual teachers may be responsible for more than their fair share of teacher-student sexual violations. I noted in my paper a few issues with this study regarding the reliability of self-reporting, not to mention the implications and interpretations of the results. The Obama administration has seen both progress and pushback. Obama has amended Nixon's executive order to include sexual orientation and gender identity in the National Equal Employment Opportunity Policy, followed by the Supreme Court case of Obergefell versus Hodges, which legalized same-sex marriage nationwide, though some privileges seeped into the personal lives of LGBT educators during this administration. The dominant message remains that LGBT educators should remain silent about their identification and participation in the LGBT community. Local and state anti-discrimination laws, including North Carolina's HB 2, often intentionally leave out sexual orientation and/or gender identity from inclusion within these policies, allowing for such instances of educators losing their jobs with few legal recourses. Such instances include a teacher who was fired after her partner's name was listed in her mother's obituary, a principal who was fired for publicly endorsing gay marriage in a personal blog post, and another teacher fired after administration learned of her plans to marry her long-term partner. Though these seem like isolated incidents, the fear and pressure to remain silent for LGBT educators is ubiquitous. For many of them, this fear has been further substantiated with North Carolina's HB 2 policies, which underlie the lack of legal recourse statewide despite legal protections from local ordinances. Ultimately, though the climate had been improving on a federal level for LGBT people, the problematic silence in their voices within a system catering towards religious conservatives has stunted the progress celebrated outside of the education system. Upon reflection, I found it difficult to analyze the topic balancing the different lenses. It is even more challenging to critically analyze a topic for which I am personally entangled and troubled with. I wonder if, despite the intentions of remaining academically objective, that I could possibly remain impartial. I can recognize the importance of stepping outside the echo chamber at present time, especially with our country so divided on similar topics. However, with the intensity of fear and confusion regarding LGBT educators, should I remain impartial in an ethical sense? I carry doubts that I can remain either impartial or silent.